Good evening and welcome to Breaking Views on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we will be talking about today because while there is political tu-tu-me-me going on, the people in Maharashtra, the farmers of Maharashtra are angry, frustrated, weeping, literally burning their crop because of the inaction of the government of Maharashtra. Every day and right now also on all television networks, you would be, there will be a debate or a political fight which is taking place. But the fact is, what's use of all this politics and power if the farmers of this country who have been time and again been given assurances, promises, income will double, all those things that have been said about them, that doesn't even in 2023 mean anything on the ground. Those words of the politicians have zero meaning on the ground. What you are seeing right now on your screens is a farmer who 15 days back in Maharashtra's Nashik area wrote a letter to the Chief Minister forewarning him that they will have no option but to burn their crops if the government doesn't intervene. Maharashtra is one of the key centers for the production of onion across the country. And the wholesale prices of onion have crashed in Maharashtra, leading to this desperation by the farmers, where they are forced to burn their own crop. Just listen in, because since morning when I have heard this story, when I've been listening to the various reactions coming in from the farmer, it's heartbreaking to see this little child going and throwing the onion into that bonfire. Listen in to what this farmer said.
अभी महाराष्ट्र में जगह जगह पे आपने देखा तो प्याज के रेट अगर देखे 200, 300, 400 रुपए बन रहे। इसको प्याज उगाने के लिए 1.25 लाख रुपए तक खर्चा आया था और मार्केट में लेके जाने के लिए 30,000 रुपए खर्चा आने वाला है। अगर ये रेट से प्याज चला गया तो जेब से पैसे जाने वाले। इस आधार से केंद्र और राज्य की कुछ उनके दिमाग में कुछ आए कि किसान के पीछे खड़ा रह सके, इसके कारण मेरे को प्याज जलाना पड़ा।
State governments, central government have let them down. Let me just put things in perspective and give you a sense of how much does it take. Apart from his sweat, his blood, the hard work that the farmer puts in, what's the arithmetic as far as production and the money that they make is concerned? On an average, the price of cultivating, onion per kg is 12 to 14 rupees, right? If the prices include the cost of fertilizer, irrigation and also transportation. Now in Nashik, which is the biggest wholesale mandi of the farmers for onion, selling price of the farmer at the wholesale market is 5 to 7 rupees. So the average loss to the farmer every kilogram that he is selling in the mandi right now is 7 to 9 rupees. That's the cost arithmetic. The farmer is losing 7 to 9 rupees every kilogram that he goes and sells into the mandi. Now, as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, what is the condition of the farmers, the desperation of the farmers, the setback that the farmers, go through year after year, and I'm taking the case of Maharashtra itself in Maharashtra. The farmer suicides in 2022, this is the state government data, rose in the state of Maharashtra, more suicides. The state government data says that 2,942 farmers died by suicide in the year 2022. The government data of 2021 says 2,743 farmers had committed suicide. The government, it says, wants to ensure Maharashtra free of farmer suicide. The government also made promises and, of course, announcement of they will announce financial assistance to the farmers. But when will that happen? After the farmers have burnt their own crops? Are they waiting for farmers to take the extreme step because they take a loan to cultivate and then they are not even able to repay that loan? Forget about making a profit. Now, just to give you another example of how desperate are things in Maharashtra's onion farmers, take a look at this farmer who on 24th Feb went to the wholesale mandi to sell his crop. He got a check of 500 and he got a check of 2 rupees, ladies and gentlemen. 2 rupees for selling a quintal of his onion crop. What will that farmer do? how will that farmer go back? With what face will this man go back to his house? And we are talking about farmer, the annadata, so and so forth. I want to now take you to Nashik, on the ground, where the farmers are facing this extreme hardship, to get you an eye-opening ground report by my colleague, Sohit.
Months of hard work up in flames in just a few minutes. But Krishna Dongre, a marginal farmer in Maharashtra's Nashik, one of India's largest onion producing areas, says burning his 150 quintal onion crop spread across 1.5 acres is a desperate move, fueled by abysmally low wholesale prices all through February. At Lasalgaon, Asia's largest wholesale market.
अभी महाराष्ट्र में जगह जगह पे आपने देखा तो प्याज के रेट अगर देखे 200, 300, 400 रुपए बन रहे। इसको प्याज उगाने के लिए 1.25 लाख रुपए तक खर्चा आया था और मार्केट में लेके जाने के लिए 30,000 रुपए खर्चा आने वाला है। अगर ये रेट से प्याज चला गया तो जेब से पैसे जाने वाले। इस आधार से केंद्र और राज्य की कुछ उनके दिमाग में कुछ आए कि किसान के पीछे खड़ा रह सके, इसके कारण मेरे को प्याज जलाना पड़ा।
Here is why farmers like Mr. Dongre or his 60-year-old neighbor Bhaskar Ahir, who has also cultivated onions on his 2-acre field, are worried. The average price of cultivation is 12 to 14 rupees per kg. The price includes cost of fertilizer, irrigation and transport. The selling price to farmers at the wholesale market is 3 to 7 rupees per kg. The average loss to the farmer is 5 to 11 rupees per kg at the current prices.
काय करणार शेवटचं पर्याय सोडूनच देणे असं बाकी काय जर मी म्हणतो आज 300 रुपये मजुरीने जर काढायला गेलं तर एका दिवसाला झालं ते 2 पोते नाही ते 3 पोते काढणार समजा तर ती मजुरी ते जेवढी होईल तेवढी काढायची आणि तेवढी मजुरी तेवढा खर्च होईल तेवढा त्यांनाच जाणार स्वतःला काही एक राहणार नाही रात्रंदिवस राबूनही काही मिळत नाही.
At the Lasalgaon wholesale market, more disappointment for farmers like Bhausab Gode, who bought 600 kilograms of onion and participated in the day's auction. The final selling price, just 355 rupees a quintal or 3.5 rupees a kg. Not enough to even cover basic costs.
आता माझं 2 लाख रुपये कर्ज आहे माझ्यावर आणि हे कांद्याचे झाले 75,000 सोनं गहाण म्हणजे पावते आहे माझ्याकडे सोन्याची आजही पण ते फिटत नाही ना घरचं याचा खर्च काढावा का ते भरावा.
सरकारला काय सांगणार?
सरकारला सरकार काय करणार आहे हो सरकारनं आतापर्यंत कधी काय केलं तर आता करायचे.
The Eknath Shinde government that promised last year it would end the woes of the state's farmers says the low selling price is because the supply has increased due to a bumper crop this year. Due to the low shelf life of onion, the farmers are trying to dispose of their produce. Taxes levied on export of onion to places like Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia and Sri Lanka has reduced demand. The state government has announced that onions will be procured by the government agency NAFED at higher prices. But many farmers are not aware of this arrangement.
ज्यादा से फार्मर को ये मालूम नहीं इधर नाफेड की खरीदी चल रही है और ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग डरते हैं कि नाफेड का पेमेंट 10 के 12 दिन से ज्यादा आ जाता है और मार्केट मंडी में जो पैसा मिलता है वो कैश पेमेंट मिल जाता है इसलिए ज्यादा फार्मर आते नहीं इधर.
Setting the entire field on fire after working on it for months show how disturbed the farmers really are. If you actually look at the current prices in the market, the farmers were bound to be ruined. This farmer just decided to ruin himself by setting his field on fire. The question is, these farmers are facing a lot of difficulties, but is anyone actually hearing? Because there hasn't been any solution provided by the government to these farmers yet. In Nashik, with camera person Praveen Jirohit, Sohit Mishra, NDTV.
Is anybody actually listening? That's what Sohit was asking. And you would hope that in a state where the farmers are going through such a crisis, the state government, the opposition leaders would be trying to hold the state government accountable. The state government would be reacting to this. Letters of blood are being written to the chief minister. But what is the chief minister and the former chief minister right now busy doing? Embroiled in a bitter politics of trying to just snatch the Shiv Sena from each other and make sure that their political future is safe. Listen in to what Uddhav Thackeray and Eknath Shinde have been busy doing at this moment when the farmers in Maharashtra are suffering.
जे शिवसेना तोडण्याचा फोडण्याचा आणि संपवण्याचा प्रयत्न करतायत त्यांना मला सांगायचे की तुम्ही नेमकं काय करताय तुमच्या लक्षात येत नाहीये. तुम्ही शिवसेना नाही फोडण्याचा प्रयत्न करत, तुम्ही मराठी माणसाच्या एकजुटीवरती घाव घालताय, तुम्ही हिंदूंच्या एकजुटीवरती घाव घालतात. याच्याचं स्वातंत्र्य काय गोमूत्र शिंपडून मिळालंय की शिंपडलं गोमूत्र आणि झालं स्वतंत्र? तसं नाहीये. गोमूत्र शिंपडून आपला देश स्वतंत्र झालेला नाहीये, तर आपल्या सगळ्या क्रांतिकारकांनी स्वतःच्या रक्ताचा अभिषेक करून हे स्वातंत्र्य मिळवून दिलेलं आहे. आणि काय काय आपण त्यांचे जयंत्या पुण्यतिथ्या करत असतो.
केंद्रीय नेतृत्व मोदी जी हो, अमित भाई हो, इनके ऊपर बार बार जो निचले स्तर पर टिका वो कर रहे हैं, ये उनका रोजाना का खेल है. इतना ही मैं कहूँगा कि देश को आगे बढ़ाने वाले मोदी जी, इनके ऊपर आप जितनी टीका करोगे जनता उतनी ही तेजी से आपको जवाब देगी.
The Chief Minister is worried about statements being made on the Prime Minister. He's warning Uddhav Thackeray not to make the statements. The former Chief Minister, whose party has been snatched by Mr. Eknath Shinde, is worried and talking about Gomutra, is talking about his party being, in fact, snatched by Eknath Shinde. Who's talking about the farmers? Nobody. Let me very quickly, before I get some expert voices on this, not a political discourse, ladies and gentlemen, remind our viewers of what the Prime Minister had said in 2018. It's already past its deadline. Prime Minister has said that he's ensuring to double the farmers' income by 2022, aiming to provide proper irrigation facilities to every farm. Want to ensure farmers' grievances are reduced. Is the Prime Minister watching the plight of the farmers in Nashik? Forget about doubling their income. Let me go across at this moment and joining us on the broadcast, Mr. Rakesh Tikait. He's the leader of the Bharatiya Kisan Union, a very well-known face who in fact started and led that movement of the farmers which rolled back the farm laws by the government later. We are also being joined by Mr. Devinder Sharma, very well-known agricultural policy expert, needs no introduction when it comes, in fact, to this matter. I welcome both of you. Thank you so much for joining us. I didn't want you to do a political debate on this because it just becomes हमने कितना किया और उन्होंने कितना नहीं किया. राकेश जी, मैं आज राजनेताओं से बात नहीं करना चाहता था क्योंकि उनके तो सिर्फ वादे होते हैं जो पूरे नहीं होते जमीन पर. जो किसान की हालत है मंडी में, अभी नासिक की हमने खबर दिखाई, 2-2 रुपए के चेक बट रहे हैं, 3.5 रुपए किलोग्राम के हिसाब से प्याज खरीदी जा रही है. क्या करे वो किसान?
देखो, जब तक नेशनल एग्रीकल्चर पॉलिसी देश में नहीं बनेगी, वो कृषि जो सेक्टर है वो मिनिस्ट्री में बटा हुआ है. हमने इनको बहुत बार कहा कि इसकी नोडल एजेंसी बना दो, एक एग्रीकल्चर कैबिनेट इसकी बना दो. हमारे पास में ये डाटा नहीं है कृषि मंत्रालय के कि कितनी जनसंख्या है, कितना हमको वेजिटेबल चाहिए, कितना हमको फूड चाहिए, कितना हमको ग्रेन चाहिए, वो कोई डाटा नहीं है. प्याज के रेट अब डाउन हुए हैं तो किसान अगली बार इसका जो क्षेत्रफल है वो घटा देगा. 2 साल में फिर रेट बढ़ जाएंगे, किसान फिर बढ़ा देगा. यही आलू का हाल है देश में, क्योंकि आलू 2 साल पहले महंगा हुआ तो किसान ने उसका क्षेत्रफल बढ़ा दिया. अब क्या आलू पिट जाएगा, अगली बार वो घटा देगा. हमारे पास में फिगर रहनी चाहिए कि कितनी हमारी जनसंख्या है, कितनी हमको जरूरत है. वो डाटा कोई अवेलेबल नहीं करवा रही सरकारें, ना उनके पास में है. सरकारों का काम सिर्फ ये है कि इलेक्शन में वोट कैसे मिलेगी, उनका गांव ये है. अधिकारियों से जब तक डाटा बेस कलेक्शन हमारे पास नहीं होगा कोई फायदा नहीं हो सकता. और किसानों का नुकसान हो जाए तो इसकी सब्सिडी सरकारें दें जी, नुकसान की भरपाई सरकारें करें. भाव डाउन हुआ ये नहीं कि फसल खराब हुई जब भी हम वो देंगे. मार्केट डाउन होने का भी कंपनसेशन सरकारों को देना चाहिए. किसान बर्बाद हो गया है और सरकारों की यह पॉलिसी है कि किसान बर्बाद हो, किसान खेती को छोड़े और कंपनियां खेती देश में करें. एक बड़ी पॉलिसी उनकी चल रही है.
राकेश जी, मैं आपसे बस दरख्वास्त करूंगा, हमारे साथ बने रहेगा. देवेंद्र जी, if I may ask you, sir, for a lot of viewers, those who would not understand, why is this happening? A bumper crop is leading to the complete crash of the wholesale market price as far as onion is concerned. And that's just one example, sir. Is there anything that the government can do? Because the government usually would say, you know, we are working towards a large long-term solution.
Well, I think let's be first very clear that it is not onion only which is facing a crash. We have seen potato, tomato, cabbage, cauliflower, eggplant, and then bhindi. All the prices of all these crops have been crashing in one part of the country or the other. And this is going through a kind of a terrible crisis, as you rightly mentioned earlier, for the farm livelihoods. And I think we need to understand, we need to appreciate as to what is happening to these farmers. How do they sustain their livelihoods? I think is something, as you rightly mentioned, is not at all is being concerned, or whether it is a policymakers or whether this country's economists. None of them is coming forward to say why is this happening and what needs to be done. It's a very sad situation. Having said that, your question as to what needs to be done, I think this is something which has been happening over the years. This is not a year which is something where we have seen the prices crashing for the first time. It has been happening over the years. Now the problem is that if you remember, we had a program initiated called TOP. Tomato, onion, and potato, for which rupees 500 crores were allocated at that time. We have forgotten about it. It was expanded into grains, which we included, adding on fruits and so on. Again, it was forgotten. And then, of course, we see in this budget also, we know 1,500 crores rupees earlier was allocated for market intervention, which was low, but at least it was still allocated. This year, it has come down to just 1 lakh rupees. I think the government has simply washed away its hands. And then what happens to these poor farmers? If the industry had suffered this kind of a loss, believe me, the nation would have been up in arms saying you need economic stimulus to be given to these industrial houses, and you need kind of given them a special package and so on and so forth. But nobody is talking about the poor farmer. So what needs to be done? I think the most important thing is we need to come up with minimum support price, make it a legal instrument. At least the farmer that you are talking about, onion in the Nashik region, if the cost of production is 12 rupees, let us give him at least 15 rupees. Whatever may happen, but let's assure that they get 15 rupees. They are just dumping their crop onto the streets or onto the nalas. I think that is not what is required. Why are we ashamed of bringing up a minimum support price for the farmers?
And
I don't understand. Why can't it be a legal entity?
Absolutely.
Why can't it be legal entity?
Legal framework for MSP. राकेश जी, जब आप लोग बैठे थे एक साल भर के लिए, इतना लंबा आप लोगों ने आंदोलन चलाया तीनों कानूनों के खिलाफ, एक बड़ा उसमें डिमांड यही था कि लीगल MSP जो है उसको एक लीगल जामा पहनाया जाए, उसके लिए एक लीगल प्रोविजन बने। सरकार ने अभी तक उसकी एक बॉडी तो अनाउंस की थी, एक कहा था कमेटी बनेगी, उस पर कुछ बात आगे बढ़ी है या फिर हम इंतजार करें अब 2024 के बाद उस पर कुछ बात होगी?
अभी कुछ नहीं किया, और ना सरकार MSP पे कानून बनाना चाहती, क्योंकि जो उनको व्यापारी दोस्त हैं, ये सरकार व्यापारियों की है, बड़े उद्योगपतियों की है, उनको नुकसान होगा तो ये देश को वैसे ही धोखा देते रहेंगे। MSP पे कोई ये बातचीत नहीं कर रही, और इन्होंने कोई भी बातचीत, जब हमारी 11 दौरकिन से बातचीत हुई उस टाइम पे भी कोई इन्होंने MSP पे बातचीत नहीं की, क्योंकि ये सस्ते में देश की फसलों को लूटते हैं, MSP के नाम पे उसको बेचते हैं, फिर ये यहाँ पे खेल बड़ा चल रहा है। तो कोई भी फसल आधे रेट में ये खरीदते हैं, MSP को झूठी डिक्लेयर करते हैं, उसकी खरीद नहीं करते। तो यही हाल पूरे देश के किसानों का है।
राकेश जी, आपको कहीं ना कहीं आज थोड़ा मायूसी होती है? इतने बड़े आंदोलन के बाद सबको लग रहा था कि कुछ ना कुछ तो बदलेगा किसानों के लिए। अभी भी आंदोलन के बाद बस तीनों किसान कानून वापस हुए हैं, हाथ में किसान के कुछ नहीं आया है।
मैं कह रहा कि अगर ये किसान आंदोलन ना होता तो ये क्या हाल देश का करते, आप उसकी कल्पना करो। इतना आंदोलन होने के बावजूद भी ये पीछे हटने को तैयार नहीं है। अगर आंदोलन देश में ना हो तो ये क्या करेंगे? ये 10 साल पुराना ट्रैक्टर खत्म कर रहे हैं, जनरेटर खत्म कर रहे हैं, पंपिंग सेट खत्म कर रहे हैं। ये देश के किसानों को बर्बाद करना चाहते हैं। इनकी पहले भी पॉलिसी थी कि हम 40% लोगों को एग्रीकल्चर से हटाएंगे। तो ये है कि किसान तंग हो और खेती को छोड़ दें और बड़ी कंपनियां खेती करें। आप बिहार का हाल देख लो, यही हाल तो बिहार में है।
जी, Mr. Sharma, if I may bring you in at this moment, sir, all this talk about government supporting the farmers through Kisan Samman Nidhi and all, is that enough? are we not understanding, is the government not understanding the fundamental problem, and these are only cosmetic changes or cosmetic, a band-aid being put on a wound that possibly requires an operation?
I think the question that you have posed is very, very important. Why it is also important is, despite all these programs that have been going on and the kind of promises that the government makes, the reality is that what we are seeing today is a bloodbath on the farm. When we talk of bloodbath on the media, we only talk of when the stock markets go down. But this is the real bloodbath. Look at the livelihoods of these millions of people involved. I think nobody wants to be talking about it. And I see whenever I talk on this about this on the Twitter, the feedback I get is, oh, it is the farmers who are responsible. A. B, they say this has been happening over the years. So what? Look at this kind of a response that is coming from the public. Now, what is actually required, as you rightly mentioned, is that the government has to get serious on bailing out or pulling out agriculture from the kind of crisis that it is already in. Okay. And that can be done. It is not 1 year problem. I just want to tell you before we go away, that a study done by OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, had shown between 2000 and 2016, in 16 years, the farmers lost 45 lakh crore rupees. Did we have any discussion in the parliament or in the state assemblies? Right. Did we have any discussion in the academia circles? No. 45 lakh crore. Imagine if the part of it was the loss that the industry had incurred. Everybody would have been up in arms.
Sir, unfortunately, the discussion is about how the political parties are being broken away and who's the rightful owner of an ex-political party or why. You're right that there hasn't been any meaningful discussion as far as farmers are concerned, not even in the state of Maharashtra, where the farmers right now have been warning the government for the last 4 weeks that we'll be reduced to desperate measures if the government doesn't intervene, and they're still waiting. I thank both of you. Rakesh ji, बहुत shukriya समय निकालने के लिए. Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma, also for joining us. We just wanted to, start, at least have a conversation so that somebody listens to and gives some sort of a relief to these farmers. Before I go, I just wanted to talk about another story that really has an impact or is having an impact on common people like you and I. The story is coming from Mumbai, where 40 customers of a private bank were cheated of lakhs of rupees just in 3 days. In 3 days, these people were cheated. Why? How? Because of a fake message of a KYC and PAN detail. They thought that the Know Your Customer process, which message that has come from their bank to verify their identity is true, and they clicked on that link. My colleague Priyanshi is just explaining what this entire fraud is and how you can keep yourself safe from such nefarious activities.
40 people lost lakhs in bank frauds in just the last 3 days in Mumbai. So we'll tell you how you can save your money from such frauds and how you can recover your money if at all you've been a victim. These fraud messages ask you to click on a link with a threat that your account will be suspended or your KYC is not updated, and these messages or calls then ask you to feed your crucial information such as PAN, mobile PIN, OTP, etc. And the moment you do that, your money is gone. So firstly, you should never click on any links from unknown numbers. Your bank will only send you messages from verified IDs, as you can see in this message from ICICI Bank. It will never be sent from a personal number. So that's red flag number 1. Secondly, your bank will never ask you for sensitive banking information such as mobile PIN, UPI or OTP. So if a message link or a caller is asking you for that information, that's the second red flag. Now remember that no amount of money can be deducted from your account unless you enter your OTP. So you should never share it with an unknown caller or an unverified link. Before entering any information, you should check whether the website is the official link of your bank, and you can check that by simply cross-checking your bank's website with a Google search. Now, if at all you fear that your account might actually be suspended, you can just call your bank directly to check if they need any information. Now, what should you do if you've been a victim of such a fraud? You can get your money back if you report the fraud to your bank within 3 days. If the fraud is reported and proven, the bank has to credit the money back to your account within 10 days. You should also immediately report the fraud to the national helpline number 1930 to limit your loss. So beware of such bank frauds, and these simple tips can help save your money.
I hope you bookmark this video and I hope that you don't click on any such nefarious link or some suspicious link. And a TV actor has also lost money among the 40 people, those who were victim of this fraud. That's all the time that we have in this edition of Breaking Views. News and updates continue with my colleague Vishnu Shom after a short break. Stay tuned.